ਬ੍ਰਿਟਨ ਦੇ ਸਲੋ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਤਰਨਮਨਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਢੇਸੀ ਨੇ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਸੰਸਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਈ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਅਤੇ ਸਥਾਨਕ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਚੋਣ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਦੀ ਬੈਠਕ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਨਵੇਂ ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਤਿੱਖੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਕੀਤੇ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਇੱਕ ਲੋਕਲ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਤੇ ਤਰਨਮਨਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਢੇਸੀ ਨੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਥਾਨਕ ਸ਼ਕਤੀਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਘਾਟ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਕੌਮੀ ਪੱਧਰ ਤੇ ਲਾਗੂ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਕਾਰਪੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਜਵਾਬਦੇਹੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਕੀਤੇ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਯਕੀਨੀ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਥਾਨਕ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਣਵਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਣਦੇਖਾ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
I would like to ask about the development of new towns. Minister, the government's recent announcement that the councils across the country will be able to seek approval to launch new town development corporations, and that was widely welcomed. However, many witnesses have highlighted the fact that they won't have comparable powers to previous generations of new town development corporations. In your opinion, are existing borrowing and CPO powers sufficient to make new town development corporations successful?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, we've put a huge amount of political weight behind the idea that we need a series of new towns in particular parts of the country, and also, frankly, gone out and asked ambitious local authorities for their ideas about where more may be. There was a particular issue identified, as you say, around the local buy-in, if you like, and leadership around new towns. Quite a lot of it was directed essentially from Whitehall rather than being directed locally, and the regulations which I took through just before recess kind of helped to correct that. I have to say I'm not aware that there's going to be a lack of any particular power around getting this thing through, but if there is in the future, as I say, I remain open-minded about changes that are required. I mean, fundamentally, we, as I say, our interests are aligned. We want to see these things built, so we will cooperate with whoever wants to build them.
Okay, and if I may check, the government also made several reforms to CPO powers through the Neighbourhood Planning Act 2017. Have you or your department had any evidence on how these amended powers have been used?
To be honest, not yet. It's a bit early to say. We haven't had that many transactions go through yet, so we can't really draw any conclusions from the way it's working at the moment. I mean, obviously, we'll keep it under review as we go, and as I say, if it looks like there's being a break on development, then we'll have to review it. But for the moment, it's too early to say.
Yeah, the rules only came into force almost exactly a year ago in September 2017, and given the time for a significant number of compulsory purchase orders to go through the system, then we've got very few sample size to look at the moment. So, but we're absolutely keeping an eye on this very closely, and we will keep everybody posted on that.
And if I may, Chair, there was an announcement on the 4th of June 2018, and the government said that with regards to new towns, and I quote, they will be held accountable by councils, the development corporations will be expected to involve communities in their projects. However, my own experience as a councillor in Gravesham with regards to the Ebbsfleet Development Corporation, the new town that was proposed there, and it was my feeling, and I think amongst many other councillors and local community groups, that local councils and community groups were in effect being sidelined. That the corporation comprising of various individuals who didn't have intricate knowledge of the local areas, that they came in and they were in effect imposing their will on local councils and people. And local councils, by the way, they only had one councillor each on such corporations. How can we actually get to what the government announced itself? How can we actually make these corporations held accountable by councils, and how can we actually have more and effective involvement of communities?
Well, this was exactly the point behind the changes that just went through before the recess, that the idea should be that first of all, the proposal itself should be generated from the local area. We've certainly put out, asking people if they've got ambitious ideas, where they want to do them, and then giving them a vehicle that is effectively created by the local area that has governance that reflects the local area, and frankly, when the plan comes forward for approval, it all has to come to the department for approval, has not only a business plan and all the rest of it and a strong likelihood of deliverability, but also shows strong evidence of local community engagement. Right, that this is critical. You're absolutely right that there is strong acceptance derived locally, and that involves a proper comprehensive engagement plan that perhaps, you may be right, has been absent in the past. But this shift towards local generation and local leadership is going to be key. So, obviously you'll want expertise on the board, but you'll also want heavy representation, particularly in areas where you've got several authorities that are involved in bringing the plan together. And hopefully, as I say, the plans that do come through will reflect all of that.
And the just as a point of fact on the timing of this is that the legislation on the new town development corporations was incorporated in the Neighbourhood Planning Act 2017, and Ebbsfleet predated that, and we didn't have that legislation at our disposal at the establishment of the Ebbsfleet Development Corporation model.